Superintendent of Hanover-Horton Schools, John Denny. Hey, John.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me back.
And first up, did you have a nice Mother's Day?
We did. We wasn't the typical Mother's Day, but after went to church, did a little running of some errands, and then did a lot of yard work. Took advantage of it while we could.
Nice. Did you see your mom?
We did not.
Okay.
We saw her Saturday at a track meet, and we're getting together this next weekend with everything going on. It was a little crazy to.
Yeah, it's a crazy time for the Denny family because they've got a graduating senior themselves, and John's mom is in education. Did you know I met your mom?
She did tell me
ago?
that she had a chance to meet you out there.
Yeah, John's mom is a substitute teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. And I asked her, I met her at a school, and I was surprised it was not a Hanover-Horton school. And I said, why aren't you substitute teaching at your son's district? And you know what she said? She
What?
said, they don't pay as much as this district.
That's true. We're looking at that. Yeah, we're looking at that. That and with them living over in Napoleon still, it's quite a drive to get over there first thing in the morning. So.
That's true. Well, I know senioritis has invaded our schools, and I think, is this the last week of school for seniors at Hanover?
Actually, tomorrow is their last day. If they've got a high enough grade and their attendance is good enough, they can exempt out of their senior second semester exams. So
No kidding.
for most of the kids, they'll be done tomorrow.
And good news from the governor. The governor has waved her magic wand, and the snow days, if anybody extended the allowable limit of snow days, you don't have to make them up.
That was nice. It would have been nice to have seen some provision put into where it was a permanent fix. You know, because if we end up with another goofy situation next year, we're going to have to kind of juggle that around. But we were good with a bonus 3 that you can qualify from the state superintendent. That we were at 9 days, so it's nice to have just in case something else goofy happens. We can always go for that waiver for those emergency days. But it was common sense. Yeah. It really was.
Well, hopefully we won't have a winter as crazy and severe as the one we continue to experience as we speak. It seems like it's hanging on.
Spring can come anytime.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, it was, some areas got frost over the weekend, and in the southern or the northern half of the Lower Peninsula tonight, there's a chance of frost again. So, but the good news is later this week it should warm up. It'd be nice. When is graduation?
Our graduation is next Friday. We graduate on a Friday going into Memorial Day weekend. That we moved it to that weekend. It's probably been about 6-7 years now since we made that switch. And it works out really nice. Allows for the families to travel afterwards or have family coming in for the holiday to be a part of it. And it's usually a good time.
And for you, it's personal this year as your son is graduating. Evan is off to what?
He's going to go to Concordia in Ann Arbor. He's got an opportunity to run track and cross country over there, as well as he's going to major in secondary education. Wants to teach Spanish and social studies.
So a third generation
yes.
teacher.
Well, my mother-in-law's a teacher, my wife's a teacher, so it definitely, all the way down the line, it was probably bound to happen. So we're excited about it. He'll do a great job at it.
Well, obviously, he's got great examples to follow, and that really must make you feel good that he wants to follow in your footsteps.
It does. I'm I'm a little anxious. There's a lot of changes that have happened in education, and especially when you get into the benefits and some of the salary issues that new teachers are facing, that's a concern as a dad. Mm-hmm. But as an educator, I'm glad he's going into it because we need our best and brightest going into the field.
I think this past weekend was the last of the proms. Yours was when?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I think Saturday, I think Napoleon was the last. Is it Western? Western usually is.
Western's was the same night as ours because they were at one of the other buildings near the fairgrounds. So we had some of our kids going to theirs and some of their kids coming to ours and redirecting kids and parents. So.
Yep, I think we're all done with prom season for this year. So once school wraps up, you've got busy activities at the school. Do you have any building projects this summer?
Well, we've got a few that will be going on this summer, and we got some that are going to be going on for the next few years. That last week, our voters approved a new facilities bond for us. So we'll end up at about $4.6 million that we should clear off the bond proceeds. Won't know that until July when we sell them. So we'll be doing a mix of designing for a lot of those processes, And then just trying to line up all the timing to figure out when it makes the most sense. But a couple of things we know we need to do. We've got a flat rubber roof, and there's a coating you can put on. It goes on just like paint, and it gives you 10 more years of wear. That it's a UV protectant and wear layer, so you don't have to redo your roof as often. So we're doing some preventive things along those lines, as well as reworking my office to make it a more secure entry point. Just school safety, unfortunately, is one of the things we got to look at.
Yeah, I think the last few years you have concentrated on safety and security. And
we have.
As we just saw last week, it's one of the things that it's the thing you have to think about the most.
It is. Between that and then trying to find ways of getting more mental health resources available to the kids, and just getting students to speak up, parents to speak up.
I think there were 3 school districts in Jackson County that had either a bond or sinking fund or village renewal last week, and all passed. And that's for people in education, you got to feel like you're getting the support of the community when it comes to what you're doing.
I wouldn't trade our community for anything. And each proposal had its own ups and downs throughout the county, but really, for the most part, our county has a pretty good success rate. It just depends on how much of an increase you're going for. We were fortunate with ours. We've got a bond that's coming off, so we were able to levy the rate that we're currently charging. So we didn't ask for an increase. We just asked to keep giving us what you're giving us, and let us take care of the district for another 20 years or so.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. No increase in taxes with a yes vote.
Makes it a much easier sell.
Yeah. So how about spring? How has the weather affected the spring sports schedule at Hanover?
A lot of cancellations. Canceling because of it being too cold, and then canceling early because of thunderstorms. We haven't had any kind of snow outs, but it's even tough with baseball and softball now because of the composite materials they make the bats out of. The temperature's got to be above I think it's like 45, or else it voids the warranty on the bats. Really? So we've had to cancel games just because it was a little too cold. But we're getting it. The athletic directors have done a great job of being able to reschedule and get things going as fast as we can to where we should be able to be done on time.
Well, when you hit a ball with a bat and the temperature is in the 40s, you feel it. I mean, it's,
you definitely
right?
do.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant feeling.
No, it is. I remember way too well between being a catcher and trying to catch a fastball off the palm on a chilly day, and then catching one off the end of the bat and getting that nice vibration all the way up to your shoulders, it felt like. Don't miss that at all.
You've got to attend track meets as a parent this spring.
Those have been a little chilly. It is one of those where you get out and it's kind of hard because you want to walk around to different parts of the track. So it's not like a football game where you just bundle up and stay put. But trunk of my car right now, I got everything from a light spring jacket to my winter parka.
What events does Evan participate in track?
Well, this year he was trying to get in the mile and the 800, but he's had some leg issues he's been dealing with since his freshman year that we thought we got fixed, and they came back this year to where basically he ran his last race on Saturday because the pain in his legs are just getting too bad. So we're going to go this summer, try to go out to a specialist in Wyoming for their 3rd trip, and hopefully this time it takes care of it.
Wow. Well, good luck, Evan. See, over the weekend, this kid set a new record in the 100 for high school.
That's fast.
Yeah.
That was. I saw he had a wind aided that he got under 10. And the next meet gets it just over that, but it was without the winds. So, yeah, that has got to be something to watch. That's a whole different level of fast.
Well, you're hopeful that next year you're going to have welcome a lot of new comets into the school district. How did the kindergarten roundup season go?
It was the best one we've had in the time I've been there.
Wow.
Typically, we come out, we do our parents' meeting first, and usually we're in the mid-high 40s out of that. And by the time we get out of roundup, we might be at 70. And I think we've registered through 92 so far. And usually we get another batch that'll trickle in throughout the summer. So we're very optimistic on that because we've already got more kindergartners in and we're graduating seniors. So enrollment numbers should be up next year, hopefully.
Good. And the last thing I think you have to wait on is the governor to finish the budget. I think traditionally the first year for a new governor, they get extra time to deliver their budget. and it looks like she's taking and will need the extra time, and that kind of leaves school districts up in the air because you don't know what figures that you're going to be able to work with from the state.
Well, it does, because there's the Senate, the House, and the governor all released their plans in sequence at some point. The governor released her plan first, which is given a lot of additional money into the right straight into the schools. And the big change of her proposal is that she's using a weighted formula to where a special education student qualifies for a little bit more, an at-risk student qualifies for more, a high school student. So it really puts into the weight the exact amount as opposed to the flat foundation allowance that we've been getting, in which an elementary student doesn't cost as much as a high school student, but it balances out. So she's looking at more of a weighted formula, which there's been a lot of studies that said this is the way we should be doing it. And then the Senate released their plan that called for a larger per pupil increase, but did away with a lot of the weighted categories. And the House plan we're still waiting on. So once we get all three plans on the table, we can kind of set our budget mark for the next year. But I've heard of people going from a flat, no increase, up to $200 increase just to try to make their numbers work. But we have to have our board approve a budget by June.
Oh, wow.
And we're told to maybe July-ish, we might have a set number from the state. They got to have it by October, but yeah, so we'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, I think that's been a long frustration that the fiscal years of the school districts are not the same as the fiscal year for the state, and you've got that difference in, as you just mentioned, July to October, that a lot of people are, well, you're still up in the air.
Yeah, it makes it tough because you're passing a budget in June on hopes. But
well, I hope your hopes come true.
Me too.
And best wishes, congratulations to the Hanover-Horton class of 2019.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Superintendent of Hanover-Horton Schools, John Denny. Well, next on JTV, you'll want to stick around.